Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about Hassan because this guy is just a complete joke and you're going to love what's going on here. He made himself look like such an idiot because this guy actually responded to me on Twitter and then he blocked me, so I couldn't even respond to him just because I pointed out that he's a massive hypocrite when he came to Ethan's defense, because as I'm sure you're aware, Ethan deleted all of his Jordan Peterson podcasts. So then a bunch of right-wing people on Twitter got all pissed off and decided to share the video of Ethan saying the N-word and saying controversial things. So then Hassan had to jump in and defend Ethan because Ethan always has to defend Hassan and Hassan always has to defend Ethan, which is probably not good for these two. Like, these two, they're probably going to be the downfall of each other because they're both grifters and it's hard enough for each one to keep the grift going, but it's even harder for Ethan to keep it going because it's just so easy to prove that he's full of shit. But Hassan always has to defend him, which, Hassan, if you're watching this, you should probably take it easy a little bit because this probably isn't the best look. And he probably is aware of that after he saw my tweet. He read my tweet, he commented, and then he blocked me. So I can't even respond to him, and I couldn't even see his tweet. I had to go on another Twitter account to see it. That is just the most cowardly move ever. And I think it shows that this guy's taking an L here because no one really had anything to say. Nobody could really defend this video that clearly showed that Hassan's being a hypocrite about this situation. Here, I'll get to it right now. So this tweet is definitely in response to everyone sharing the video of Ethan saying the N-word. So Hassan said, "Funniest part about right-wing weirdos is their constant need to bring up old shit that people have apologized for years after they have clearly changed. Just because you're incapable of changing doesn't mean others aren't. Self-reflection and growth is at the heart of progress." So I saw this and obviously I'm just like, what a fucking dumbass tweet. Like, if it was coming from somebody else, maybe it'd be a decent tweet, but coming from this guy who always brings up shit about people's past, I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go find a clip of him talking about somebody's past. And I got one and I commented it and it got some likes and everything. And then of course he sees it and he has a fucking meltdown. I have 12 Twitter followers. This guy's getting triggered by somebody with 12 Twitter followers and he's responding to me and he's blocking me. Like, dude, you gotta take it easy, man. And the only reason he did respond and he got so worked up about it is because he knows I'm right. Like, all I did is have to post this clip that's like 12 seconds long, and that's what everyone had a problem with. That was everyone's excuse as to why this was a bad take on my part, because the clip was short. Like, they wanted me to post the whole fucking podcast. They're like, oh, way to post a 12-second clip, way to take shit out of context. Like, have you ever been on the fucking internet? Like, everyone takes shit out of context, and there's no context needed for this. Like, the context does not help at all. And all right, so we can't take shit out of context anymore. Then everything Hassan reacts to has to be the full podcast, like the full whatever he's watching. He can't take shit out of context anymore because apparently that's wrong. Like, these people are fucking hilarious. You're losing the argument when you bring up, oh, this is out of context, when the context means nothing at all. All right, so now I'm gonna play the clip that I posted, and I'll even post a little longer because everyone's like, this is too short, this is only 12 seconds. Like, I'll post the whole thing. Like, this is all he said about the issue, like about how Sarah Silverman did blackface years ago and now she has no right to speak on social issues. Like, go watch the whole fucking podcast if you want. It's not gonna change this at all. Like, this is what he said, and he even doubled down on it in this clip that I'll show. All right, so again, I posted this in response to Hassan saying that people can change and it's weird that people keep bringing up shit that people have done in the past and apologize for.
If you guys can fact check that.
Why is a fucking comedian who did like blackface and shit back in the day and, portrayed herself as Hitler and all this other stuff now talking about like social justice through comedy? I'm sorry. This is like the one area where I'm just like,
well, people are allowed to change their opinions on stuff.
I know, but like, it seems inauthentic.
If the fact that she did blackface doesn't mean that she can't ever like.
All right, so this clip was almost too perfect in response to that Hassan tweet. Like, this, he just contradicts himself so badly right here. And of course, Ethan has to defend Sarah Silverman because he did a bunch of racist shit in the past. And like I said, Hassan says that she shouldn't be talking about these issues. And then Ethan's like, well, actually, she has the right to speak on these. It was a while ago. And he pretty much doubles down. He's like, this is the one area that she has no right to speak on, and she doesn't seem authentic talking about these things. And then right after I stop it, Ethan changes the subject because he knows this is something that he probably shouldn't be talking about, because if he wants to be on Hassan's side with this, he's gonna look like such a fucking hypocrite and idiot, which I mean, he always does. So I'm surprised this actually stopped him. Like, I'm surprised he's not like, yeah, she has no right to talk about this stuff. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised, good for Ethan. He actually is trying to be consistent for once. So the people that were trying to defend Hassan here, they're all just like, well, this is 12 seconds, post the whole clip, you don't want to. Like, All right, go watch the whole fucking podcast. It changes nothing. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? They just have nothing to say, and they want to defend Hassan so badly, so they just say, it's out of context. Like, that's the easiest defense ever. Like, everything's out of context. This is the fucking internet. And I'm sure I could find plenty of examples of Hassan bringing up people's past that they have apologized for. This shit is just too funny. Like, if you have some context to add to this to prove me wrong, go ahead and add it. But I'm not going to just post the whole podcast. That would make no fucking sense. Just be like, oh, here you go. Here's a podcast that's 2 hours long. You're a hypocrite. Like, you got to post the clip, obviously. And, you know, if there was context to add to this that proved me wrong, then prove me wrong. Like, I'm looking for it. Go ahead. Show me what changes this or something. And Hassan even tried to defend himself. And I think he made himself look even worse here. That's probably why he blocked me, you know? If I could respond to his tweet, you know, I probably still no one would notice because I have 12 followers, but I could easily come up with something that would make him look like an idiot. Like, this is the worst response ever. And like, nobody could come up with a good response to this because there really is no good response. Like, this guy, I'm sorry, he looks like a hypocrite here. That's just a fact. Just take the L and move on. All right, so let's see what Hassan's response to this is. And again, I couldn't even see this response. I didn't even know he responded to me because the guy just blocked me and I can't respond to him. So like, this is the most cowardly move ever. Like, I have 12 followers and you're blocking me. You're not allowing me to respond. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? You're the biggest coward ever. And I know, even if he's watching this video, he's just like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. He needs to touch grass. His voice sounds weird. He's annoying. He's obsessed with me. He's obsessed with Ethan. Like, I'm sorry, I'm right about this, and you can't think of a good response, so you have to just resort to like making fun of me, which I don't even care if he does. It's better because that just shows you have nothing really to say. So let's take a look at his tweet here, which of course it starts with, hey dumbass, I don't think you can understand my point here. I'm not canceling Sarah Silverman for those things. If anything, I wish she'd stick to comedy rather than weird SJW pandering. Wow, this sounds very familiar. I wonder who else should stick to comedy and not SJW pandering. Your co-host, Ethan Klein. Like, dude, how fucking dumb are you? I thought you were smarter than this, man. Come on. Ethan's whole channel is just pandering to SJW people now. Like, it's such a fucking joke. He's the biggest grifter ever, and it's so easy to prove. Like, dude, I'm sorry you made the mistake of associating yourself with Ethan Klein, but this is what it's turned into. I'm sorry. This has to be one of the worst responses ever. Like, why the hell would he even respond to this? It doesn't make any sense. And he's almost proving everyone's point, because everyone's point is Ethan really doesn't have a right to speak on social issues because he's done a bunch of fucked up shit in the past, and you're saying the same thing about Sarah Silverman. Like, you're agreeing with everybody. Isn't this like a right-wing talking point here? Like, oh, this comedian doesn't have a right to talk about racism because they've done blackface and they've said the N-word. And also, his response just makes no sense because his original tweet, which I'll pull up again right here, the funniest part about right-wing weirdos is their constant need to bring up shit that people have apologized for years after they have clearly changed. That's exactly what he's doing here. He's bringing up Sarah Silverman's past when she apologized and she's clearly changed. And then his response to me, he says, I'm not trying to cancel Sarah Silverman for those things. All right, I never said you were. I am just proving that you brought up her past. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. Did this guy forget what the original tweet even was, maybe? I don't know what's going on here. It's not that hard to understand. You said that it's weird when people bring up people's past when they clearly have changed. I showed you that you did the same thing, and then you act like I was trying to say that you're trying to cancel her for the things she said or something. Like, all I'm saying is you brought up her past when clearly, like, she's apologized, she's changed. Why can't she talk about social issues now? Like, you said that she did blackface, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I'm not really sure. And you're saying that why are we listening to her? Because she's done blackface. Like, dude, she's changed. She's apologized. Like, this is the whole point of your first tweet. Like, I cannot believe he came back with this response. And he knows he lost because he just blocked me. And nobody has a good response to my tweet. Like, everyone's just like, yeah, it's out of context. Hassan's right, you know, whatever. Like, his fans are just delusional. But it's entertaining, you know? I love to watch this shit. It's so funny. People are like, play the whole clip. I dare you to. Why don't you play the whole clip? Like, go watch the podcast. Like, do whatever the hell you want. Like, you know, in the end that this just makes no sense. And you're trying to do whatever you can to defend this guy that you watch 24/7 and you think everything he says is 100% correct. Like, no, go and get a fucking life. Like, go outside. And people are telling me to go touch grass. Like, this is just amazing. Like, in the comments, like, this kid, I love this kind of shit. He says, username checks out, go outside, you degenerate. Like, this is projection at the max. Like, this dude, I just went on his Twitter account. He has 28,000 tweets. He's retweeting shit every 5 seconds. He's talking about video games. He's retweeting streamers. Like, his whole life is probably just watching like TV and playing video games and watching streamers. Like, all right, dude, you want to go outside? I'll play a basketball game against me versus you and Hassan, and I'll kick your ass. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, dude? It's honestly just kind of sad, the state that these people are in. Like, they're coping on another fucking level. Like, the fact that these people are so defensive and Hassan blocked me before I could even respond, it just shows they're fucking losing this argument. Like, what else? Like, why would you block somebody? I have 12 followers. Why the hell would you block me? That's like the most pathetic thing ever. And also, I think this is my first tweet replying to Hassan. Like, one tweet, that's all it takes. And I didn't really expect much. I didn't expect this tweet to take off. I thought I'd just post it and nobody would talk about it. Like, Hassan's the idiot for talking about this and drawing attention to it. And here's another tweet talking about how I took it out of context and everything. And this is all people are saying, because this is all you really can say. Like, there's no defense for this. Hassan looks like a complete idiot here, but he's like their team leader. He's the team captain, and everyone has to defend him, you know? He can't look like an idiot because then their team starts to lose. Like, that's this whole game. And it's honestly just kind of sad to see, because these people are just so confused. Like, Hassan knows he looks like an idiot here, but he has to come up with like some reason to make it seem like he's not a complete idiot. But these people are just like, oh, we're fucking mindless drones that do anything we can to protect Hassan. It's like, no, grow the fuck up. Stop watching this guy 24/7. Like, you should not look at any celebrity and be like, oh, I'm gonna defend him relentlessly, he can do no wrong. Like, no, people fuck up all the time. Like, you should not put all your trust into one guy. You should be able to point out that this guy sounds like a complete idiot here. Like, why not? Even if you're a fan of the guy, what's wrong with pointing this out? And I'd respect Hassan a lot more if he just saw this tweet and was like, oh yeah, I sound like an idiot here, you know, this is probably a bad tweet I put out. Like, at least be honest. You don't need to be so defensive about everything. Be like, oh, actually, you fucking idiot, I wasn't trying to cancel Sarah Silverman, I was just trying to say that she shouldn't be pandering to SJW people. And a reply like this and him getting so defensive made him look a billion times worse, because we all know he knows he screwed up here. He knows this is a dumb tweet, but he's still just going hard and trying to defend it, and all of his fucking whacked out fans are trying to defend it, but all they can think of is, oh, this is out of context, good job, you think you got him, no, this is only 12 seconds. Like, have you ever been on the fucking internet? Like, if Hassan stumbled upon a Joe Rogan clip that's 12 seconds and it makes Joe Rogan look like an idiot, do you think he's gonna be like, you know what, this is actually out of context, maybe I shouldn't tweet this? Like, if the clip makes Joe Rogan look like an idiot, Hassan's gonna tweet it. And also, again, the clip that I post, there's no context to it. Like, go watch the whole podcast, go watch anything. Like, this is the context. There's nothing else to it. He was talking about Sarah Silverman, and he said she doesn't really have the right to speak on these issues because she's done blackface. Like, that's the clip. There's nothing else you can add. And if there is more to this, then show me. Like, it's just everyone saying, oh, I dare you to post a full clip. You should post a full clip. This is out of context. You post it. Like, why aren't you posting it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's honestly a cult at this point. Like, these people will do whatever they can to defend their leader. So actually, while I was making this video, I realized that Hassan reacted to this tweet on his live stream, and like, he blocked me and he responded to it all on the live stream. So of course we're gonna have to check that out.
This fucking dumbass. I go, funniest part about right-wing weirdos and their constant need to bring up old shit is that the people have apologized for years after they clearly changed. Just because you're incapable of changing doesn't mean others aren't. Self-reflection and growth is at the heart of progress. This guy goes, this you. I is a fucking comedian who did like blackface and shit back in the day, and, you know, portrayed herself as Hitler and all this other stuff, now talking about like social justice through comedy. And he found a way to clip that in precisely the worst way possible.
This is one of the greatest things ever. I didn't know it was so easy to get to this guy. I have 12 followers, and I didn't think anything of it when I posted this. I thought like nobody would like it. I didn't think anybody would talk about it. Now this dude's talking about it on his live stream. Like, what an idiot. This is one of the worst moves ever. And I love how he's acting like I did something crazy to make him look so bad here. Like, dude, all I did, this took me like less than a minute. I went to YouTube, found the clip, screen recorded 12 seconds and put it on Twitter. That's all it is. I didn't like sit there trying to figure out the best way to clip this and like edit it or anything like that. Like, I wasn't even thinking when I did this. I'm like, ah, this is kind of funny. I remember him saying this. And this is what it turns into. Like, come on, man. He could have easily just looked at this tweet and been like, oh, well, I sound like an idiot here. I shouldn't have said that about Sarah Silverman. Like, she has the right to talk about these issues. Just because she did blackface doesn't mean anything. Instead of being like, look at this asshole who took my clip out of context and trying to make me look like an idiot. Like, no, dude, you're just making yourself look like an idiot.
Because I was literally talking about Sarah Silverman being funny. I wasn't trying to fucking cancel Sarah Silverman. I literally was saying, why the fuck is she like why is she talking about Jew face? She should just be funny. instead. Okay?
I think this guy could rationalize anything, and he can get away with it because his audience just buys all his bullshit. Like, this guy's just a salesman. He just sits up there bullshitting these people 24/7, and they sit there like drooling on themselves like, yeah, he's got the right idea on everything. No, this guy's an idiot just like you guys are. And also, if you want all the context to it, they're talking about Sarah Silverman and how she does Jew face, and Hassan says she has no right to talk about this because she's done blackface. He's bringing up her past to try to say that she has no right to talk about something, just like people are doing with Ethan, and that's exactly what he was defending Ethan from. He didn't bring up her doing blackface because she should stick to comedy. Like, he brought it up to say, you have no right to speak on these issues. Like, go watch the clip. The context makes things even worse, possibly.
It is mind-boggling, and it got 448 likes because people just see that and go, this is a 12-second clip. I wonder if there's more to it. No, that's it. That's it.
I wonder if there's more to it. There's more to everything, dude. Like, you tell me you've never taken anything out of context. Like, you've never watched just like a couple minutes of Joe Rogan's podcast or a couple of minutes of like a 3-hour-long interview or something. Like, this is how shit works. Like, all of a sudden people are like, oh, what? You can't take shit out of context? You can't post short clips? Like, you guys are fucking brain dead. And this guy, he's bullshitting you. He knows this clip is fair game. He knows he looks like an idiot here. And he knows he doesn't have any real defense. So he just has to make shit up. And he has to act like there's like so much that I'm missing here, you know? And of course, he knows his whacked out fans are going to believe this shit because they believe anything he says. Like, Ethan Klein's fans and Hassan's fans, whatever those two say, they will believe. Like, they could come out tomorrow and start yelling the N-word, and they'll be like, well, actually, they're saying it the right way because they did it. Like, they'll justify anything. It's a fucking cult at this point.
I said, hey, dumbass, I don't think you understand my point here. I'm not canceling Sarah Silverman for those things. If anything, I wish she'd stick to comedy rather than weird SJW pandering.
And it's funny because I agree that Sarah Silverman should stick to comedy and not SJW pandering, but that really has nothing to do with this. That is not his point in this video. And that kind of proves that if she's done blackface in the past, then she should just stick to comedy because it's not her place to talk. Like, I think that's kind of what he's saying here. And how does he not realize he's doing a podcast with the prime example of this? Ethan Klein 100% should have stuck to comedy. And you're going to be saying that by the time you're done doing a podcast with him. He should have stuck to comedy. Now he just panders to SJW people. And I'd say that about a lot of comedians nowadays, like Ethan, Seth Rogen, Patton Oswalt. It's all these gray blob people that just start pandering to social justice warriors. And also, people only change in Hassan's book when he likes the people. Like Keemstar, he said the N-word like a really long time ago. He continues to bring that up, you know? He does the same shit with Keemstar that he did with Sarah Silverman. He continues to bring up the N-word to prove that he's a racist and he hasn't changed.
But of course, it's not about what my actual positions are. It's not about what I actually believe in. It's quite literally about, it's Hassan. Do you expect intellectual consistency? Hassan being hypocritical, more news that we all knew about at 8. It's literally just like, it is just insane. It does not matter. It does not fucking matter. It is all about like, it is quite literally all just about like, oh, got him. Fucking got him. Hassan doesn't have intellectual consistency.
Yeah, that's how the internet works. Everyone wants to be like, oh, I gotcha. Like, Hassan, I'm sure, does that all the time. Like, when Ethan did that debate with Steven Crowder, he brought on that dude just to be like, oh, I gotcha. Like, we made you angry and, like, we embarrassed you or whatever. And Hassan loved that. That's all just, like, bullshit. It's nonsense. That means nothing. And also, the fact that Hassan has no rebuttal to this tweet that makes any sense at all, and everyone's getting so defensive, and all of his followers are flipping out, and he blocked me. Like, that shows, dude, I gotcha. Sorry. Like, some fucking nobody on Twitter gotcha. Like, that's pretty pathetic.